Alrighty, welcome to the post free agency sports pulse pod. I'm here with Vin No Sports, aka Vin. What's up, Vin? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. I'm excited. We haven't, it's been a while since we recorded. Last time we recorded, free agency hasn't even started, and now we're pretty deep, pretty deep. I gotta set up all these moves for my fantasy league because I'm the commissioner of my fantasy football league, and I'm really excited. It's going to be cool to see how all these players pan out on their new teams.
Yeah, no, it's definitely really fun. We had a show a couple weeks ago, just kind of mapping out the entirety of free agency, and we're back. We're gonna go over everything from the Jaylen Waddle trade that happened today, all the way up until Maxx Crosby trade that didn't go through. Everything that happened. So first and foremost, Vin, I want to get started real quick. What do you think about this Jaylen Waddle trade today? Kind of out of nowhere.
I think it's a good trade. I really like the way that the Dolphins are going about things, actually. They signed their quarterback, right? We all saw that kind of coming. I think we discussed it on our last episode where Malik was going to go. And I don't remember what team I said. I might have said the Dolphins. But I feel like that was kind of written in the sky when it happened. If I didn't say it, shame on me. Because I feel like that he was going to go to Miami because of Jeff Halfley. But I think it's a good move for the Dolphins because this is a team that needs a reset, and it all begins and ends at the quarterback position. And I think Malik Willis is a good signing, and then you move Jaylen Waddle. Now you can add some extra pieces to that team. And what a move for the Broncos. I mean, this is a team that, I love Cortland Sutton, right? I like Marvin Mims. But are any of those guys really in their prime anymore? Are they really number ones? I don't think so. So I think that getting someone like Jaylen Waddle, who I think I think if he wasn't like Miami, like if he was never on Miami, he would be a number one on a lot of different teams. I think he could be a number one on the Chiefs. I think he could be a number one over in Vegas, so on and so forth. Um, I think that it's a good trade for the Broncos because they were this close to making the Super Bowl. I mean, this close. And sure, it was a quarterback issue, but who knows? Jalen Waddle might have 1,000 yards over in Denver. As for the Dolphins, though, the return they got, I love the return they got. They got a first and a second, right? It was a first, it was a one and a two.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I think on both sides, this is a really good trade. But I want to see what the Dolphins end up doing with those picks because this could turn out to be like a this could turn out to be like a Minnesota Buffalo trade that happened a few years ago when the Vikings trade Stephon Diggs and got a first round pick. Well, that first round pick ended up being Justin Jefferson. Or it could turn out to be like another trade that I've seen happen multiple times in the league. There's probably a few examples of players getting those first round picks, and those first round picks end up being out of the league in the next 3 to 5 years. So I'm not really gonna be able to give it a true grade, but the return, like for face value, is really good. Dom, what do you think?
Yeah, so I was actually incorrect. It was a first, a third, and a fourth. So again, I mean, I think your statement kind of still stands that this trade was really good. The Broncos obviously need a either they really seem like they need somebody else other than Cortland Sutton because Cortland Sutton's a guy that will either get you 120 yards or or 10 yards. So he's a big play type of guy. He's going to go for those deep 20+ yard balls. And Jaylen Waddle, you could really stretch him out, have him as a short route runner, and kind of be that 1A 1B that they're looking for in Denver. And this is just fantastic in general for them just to have a guy like that. And I don't really think they're going to miss that first round pick. I think their team is overall really solid. Like you said, they missed the Super Bowl because they lost their quarterback. Let's just be real. They would have probably put up a better fight than the New England Patriots. So with that, I think that's a fantastic trade. And I want to kind of transition to another trade, something the NFL world was kind of all on their toes and their heels for. was that Maxx Crosby trade, and it obviously fell through. He was traded to the Baltimore Ravens for a few first round picks, I think two, and a couple seconds. But yeah, it was absolutely craziness. I think a week ago to this day, the trade was canceled because of a failed physical from Maxx Crosby. What do you think about that, Vin? Because I know that kind of lit up the entire NFL world of like, oh my gosh, this could have been generational. And rumor had it that they were planning to sign Trey Hendrickson. But what do you think? What do you think about this? Because I know there's some speculation, some rumors going around about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting when you look at it. I mean, this turned the league on its head. I mean, the fact that the Ravens traded away like so much capital to go get this guy. And I mean, I would too. If I was an NFL GM, I would trade away everything I got to get a guy like Maxx Crosby. I mean, how many pass rushers in the league are really better than Maxx Crosby? Miles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson, maybe. I'd say the list ends about there. I don't really think there are many. And when you're a team like the Ravens, who just got rid of a coach that's been there for 18 years, and he won a Super Bowl for you, and you're starting with a new head coach, you want to make an impact, right? What bigger impact can you make than getting one of the best defensive players in the NFL? And if anybody has watched Ravens football at all, we know that the reason the Ravens have won their Super Bowls is because of their defense, right? I mean, when you think of the Ravens, the first players for me at least that come to mind are guys like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, T Sizzle, one of my favorites, Terrell Suggs. When you think of the Ravens, those are the guys that come to mind. Even now, other than Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, Kyle Hamilton is one of the first players that comes to mind, right? The guy's an absolute stud. So when you think of the Ravens, you think defense. You eat, sleep, and breathe defense in Baltimore. And they made a big trade for Maxx Crosby. And then all of a sudden, it's not even the Ravens that put out the news. It's the Raiders Twitter admin that puts out the news and says, the Maxx Crosby trade's been canceled. That screwed everything up. But credit to the Ravens front office and Jesse Minter for not only canceling that trade, but going out and getting Trey Hendrickson. I said how many pass rushers are really better than Maxx Crosby? How many pass rushers are really better than Trey Hendrickson, right? I think Maxx Crosby's better. I think Aiden Hutchinson and Miles Garrett are better. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, who just signed like a $40 million deal, maybe. And that's it. There are not many better guys than Trey Hendrickson. But if we look at it from the Raiders end too. So the Raiders made a ton of signings, right? Tyler Linderbaum being the biggest one. And I'm so glad that they made that signing because that's going to be able to protect the inevitable 1-1 in Fernando Mendoza. But they also made a couple other signings across the way. They got one of the Vikings players. They got Jaylen Naylor, who they signed to a 3-year deal. He had a great year in Minnesota last year. They made a couple of signings over on the defensive side of the ball. But the fact that they got Maxx Crosby back, the fact that they were able to get him back too, it does put them in a little bit of a cap situation. But I think overall, I think the Raiders getting Maxx Crosby back is actually a good thing. And it worked out over in Baltimore. So honestly, even though this turned everybody in the league, it kind of made them go crazy, I loved what I saw. And who knows, maybe Maxx Crosby will be on the move again, but I don't think so. I think Maxx Crosby's a Raider next year. And this division is quickly becoming the most competitive division in the NFL, right next to the NFC North. So, Dom, let me know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's going to be not only really good for the Ravens to make that trade. I want to give credit to the Raiders because they had a really solid offseason, getting pieces around Mendoza, who they're obviously going to draft. Tyler Linderbaum, who I had as one of the best players in free agency this year. The Ravens number one, first round, not number one, but first round draft pick a couple years ago. I think pick 25 back in like 2021, 2022. So just a really solid offseason for the Raiders, getting those depth pieces and really building around Mendoza. Obviously, they're not going to have a 17-0 year, but they're building around that core that could really become in a few years a fantastic dynasty. And I think that, now they're keeping Max Crosby. You have two superstars on both sides of the ball now. You have Ashton Genty, you have Fernando Mendoza, you have Brock Bowers, Max Crosby. Raiders football isn't looking so bad right now. From the number one draft pick, they might be a wild card contender. Call me crazy, but this team may be in the running. I know this Broncos team is really good. I don't have that much faith in the Chiefs this year. Call me crazy, and we'll get back to them in a second because of the Justin Fields trade to them. But I don't have a lot of faith in them. The Chargers are always a little sketchy, so for them to build that team up like that, I think that's fantastic progress for them. And then going into that Justin Fields trade, I seen a lot of buzz online about this, and supposedly he's going to be a huge piece in that offense. Not a small piece, not a medium piece. I hear people saying he's going to be a heavy part of this offense, and I can really see it. He's a quarterback that can do everything, and he's not fantastic at one thing, but he can be your gadget quarterback. And I think that seeing him in your division a couple years ago, Vin, what do you think about this as a as somebody who's seen Justin Fields play against your Vikings as a Bear?
Yeah, Justin Field, as a Vikings fan, I can't root for Chicago, right? Don't have anything against them. It's just I play them twice a year and I don't like losing to them. But I've always liked Justin Fields. I always have. I never liked Mitchell Trubisky. I don't like Caleb Williams. I didn't like Jay Cutler. I always liked Justin Fields. It's not nothing. It's nothing against their play. Like, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Caleb Williams is one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the NFL. I just don't like him. Mitchell Trubisky, he sucked, and I didn't like him. Jay Cutler, the all-time Bears passing leader, great player, didn't like him. Justin Fields, I don't know what it is. I like the guy. He's just a guy I want to root for, and I want to see succeed. Actually, funny story about Justin Fields before I get into the signing real quick. The Vikings were actually supposed to draft Justin Fields back in that draft. That was going to be their pick, and then the Bears jumped ahead of Minnesota and grabbed Justin Fields. And then Minnesota was like, all right, we'll fall back on Rashawn Slater. And the Chargers ended up picking Rashawn Slater. And then Minnesota had to trade back. But they ended up getting Christian Darrisaw, so it worked out. But anyways, going back to the Fields signing, I think it's great. I was talking about this with my uncle yesterday because he's a Jets fan, and Justin Fields clearly didn't work out over there. But he was saying to me, he's like, do you really think Mahomes is not going to be ready by the time the season comes through? I said, I don't know. And he said, well, I've seen this before. And I think that, and I agree with him when he said this. He was saying that the Chiefs are going to say, oh, Mahomes is not ready. Mahomes is not ready. Mahomes is not ready. And then a week before the season, Patrick Mahomes is ready. He's fine. He's ready to go. And I think that's going to be the case. But even then, I do think that, like they said, he is going to be a heavy part of this offense. I think it's a great move for the Chiefs. Let's say Patrick Mahomes isn't actually ready. Right? Let's say the league isn't screwing with us this time. I mean, someone's got to start. I'd rather start him than pretty much anybody else that's on their roster. He can move very well. He can move very well. I love the way Justin Fields moves. He's fast. He's good on his feet. And I think he can be an integral part of this offense. I mean, he could be really good in the RPO game. I mean, there's so many things you could do with a guy like Justin Fields on your offense. Part of the reason he didn't work out on the Jets is because it's the Jets. I mean, I don't know what it is about Jets quarterbacks and when they go there, but Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, who's back on the Jets now. I mean, the list just goes on. They just don't work out. But I think this is a good chance for Justin Fields to not only play a little bit in that offense, but sit back and learn from one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. It's crazy that I'm saying that, and he's only like 30-something years old. But for him to sit back and to be able to learn from one of the greatest players in the history of the National Football League, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, that's going to be something to see. And I think this is a chance for him to end up like Sam Darnold, like Geno Smith, and maybe like Malik Willis, go on a new team and be that franchise quarterback that he was supposed to be. So I like it. I like it. And it's crazy that we're talking about Justin Fields, and that isn't even the biggest quarterback move we saw in free agency.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely think it's a point, and I want to ask, like, what do you think this is the start of his backup career, or do you think that he's going to go on to play like a Sam Darnold, like you just mentioned? Do you think this is it for him?
No, I don't think this is it for him at all. I mean, listen, he didn't do great on the Jets, but it's the Jets, right? I mean, when you take a look at Justin Fields, just his everything, when you look at his like stats and everything, let's just think about it. He's 27, so he's very young. Um, he played for a couple of different teams. He had success on most of those teams. When you look at his stats with the Jets, it's actually not that bad. He has 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. That's not that bad. And the Jets were still bad, but that's not his fault, right? I mean, in those games with the Jets, he wasn't terrible. Like he wasn't good, but he wasn't terrible. I mean, and listen, I think the Jets are going to do well with whoever they put at quarterback, like Geno Smith, or if it is someone that they draft, maybe a Ty Simpson or Carson Beck, who I heard a lot about.
Really?
But
Oh wow.
I heard about Ty Simpson. I heard that rumor, well, not at 2, but like maybe like they move around in the first round. Maybe they jump ahead of Pittsburgh, who I think might end up taking him. But I heard a lot of talk about them maybe doing a quarterback in the draft. But Geno Smith is another name. But back to Fields, he wasn't that bad. And I think if Justin Fields is in the right system, with the right team, with the right players, and he could succeed just like any other quarterback. I mean, we saw what happened. I mean, we see this all the time when players go to the right system. I mean, it's all about the team that's around you. Look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is in the right system. He's succeeding. Look at Dak Prescott. I mean, I could probably succeed with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, but the point is he's balling out in Dallas. I mean, even if you want to go back in NFL history, look at Joe Montana and the system that he was put in. I'm not saying he's a system quarterback. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks you've ever seen play this game, but that system was built around him. He'll even say it. The whole idea was the West Coast offense for him, and it worked. Aaron Rodgers was in the right system in Green Bay. It got him 4 MVPs. Kirk Cousins was in the right system in Minnesota. He played really well and made a couple Pro Bowls. I mean, Stafford's in a great system over in LA. Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl because of the system he's in with that fantastic run game. I mean, Justin Fields, he has room to improve. He's 27 years old. He's not 55. He's not on the brink of retirement. He hasn't had too many injuries. I don't think it's done. I don't think Justin Fields is done. I'm still a believer. I think this time next year we'll be talking about the new team that Justin Fields is on, and he'll be the starter for that coming season.
Wow. I like that. No, I really, because I had the same sentiment as you, with him coming out of college. He was so athletic that he could succeed at quarterback, and I still think that because not only is he super athletic, he's like a very very good runner. People forget how good he was running the football. Like getting 1,000 yards on the ground for the Chicago Bears is no easy feat as a
Yeah,
quarterback.
I would argue that he might be the second best running quarterback in the NFL behind Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, and I think in his prime he was definitely maybe not now, but
I mean, there's an argument to be made. I mean, like, how many guys are really rushing quarterbacks? I mean, you have Lamar, you got Kyler Murray, which I'm sure we'll get into in a few minutes. But I mean, like, Justin Fields is right there with the best in terms of just strictly running. There aren't many quarterbacks who could do it better than him.
yeah, I see him, and I see guys like that, like him, Anthony Richardson. I was thinking about today, and how like what's gonna happen with him. Guys like that are so good for those like that not backup role, but that gadget role where you could put him on a third and a three, and he could run uh 10 plus yards for you or and get you that first down. So I see the value in that, but I have kind of the same mindset as you that I really do think that Justin Fields was very discredited in New York and could be a starter on a team. Think about it. He could have been the starter for the Raiders. Like he could have been the starter for who else? Man, he could have been the starter for the Dolphins, I think. You know, uh, all those teams, I think he really could have just started for them. and been better than Tua or been better than Geno Smith. So I definitely do think I have the same mindset as you with that. But I also want to go into somebody who you just mentioned, Kyler Murray. Um, Obviously, a former first overall draft pick. Crazy, like what a fall from grace that was, and not to his own, um, you know, not at his own faults, but just a lot that happened in Arizona with him, and it just never worked out with him and his injuries and just the drama with him. What do you think that he's able to do in Minnesota that maybe JJ McCarthy wouldn't be able to do on his own?
Well, speaking from a fan's perspective, I'm really happy to have Kyler Murray as a Viking. Obviously, I've talked a lot about how he doesn't watch tape. I think it's going to change. I think it's finally hit him that part of the reason he didn't succeed in Arizona, and no disrespect to Kyler Murray, Arizona did a horrible job surrounding him with talent. But Kyler Murray I think it's finally hit him that part of the reason he didn't succeed in Arizona is because of himself. And I'm not saying he's the problem. He's not. He was great in Arizona, but you got to watch tape as a quarterback, right? There's been a lot of talk about it. And I think he's going to be awesome in Minnesota. I think he's going to be great. First of all, he was a Vikings fan, which is great. I mean, he talked about he said when Brett Favre back in 2009, the Vikings played the Saints in the NFC Championship, and Brett Favre threw an interception at the 50-yard line to Tracy Porter, and he said he cried real tears, and so did I. So did I. I cried real tears too, lots of them. That was bad. That was bad. But again, getting sidetracked about Vikings pain. But back to Kyler Murray, what he could add to this offense is something special. This is not the first time. Remember what happened the last time the Vikings signed a former first round pick to be their quarterback? Yeah, he's a Super Bowl champion now. Um, Remember what happened the last time the Seahawks signed a first round quarterback? That wasn't Sam Darnold. Oh, Geno Smith. Yeah, he ended up being pretty good. Um, the Broncos got not the Broncos, sorry, the 49ers. They got their hands on a former first round pick. Mac Jones looked great. So look at these guys. Like, I mean, there's a pattern here that I'm seeing, Dom. These guys were former first round picks. Sure, Justin Fields didn't work out, but it's the Jets, okay? Geno Smith and Sam Darnold were on the Jets. That's the point. When you look at these guys who are former first round picks that are going to these new teams that have a team that's good for them, that have a system that's right for them, they succeed. There are so many quarterbacks who could succeed in Minnesota. I get it. JJ McCarthy didn't look great, but every other quarterback who played for the Vikings before JJ McCarthy, Joshua Dobbs, even, you have Nick Mullins, you have Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold. These guys all look good under Kevin O'Connell. He just happened to fail on one, which was JJ McCarthy. Not totally his fault, but he still had Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. That's five guys I just named off the top of my head, not because I'm a fan, but all five of those guys were at once really good Pro Bowl level, even all pro level players. I think Kyler Murray is going to work wonders in Minnesota. First of all, we just talked about rushing quarterbacks. He's really good at running with the ball. I'm not going to front. He's that good. He's an athlete. This guy was a first round pick in football and baseball. He was a first round pick, I'm pretty sure, to the Oakland A's, like seventh or eighth overall in the MLB draft. This guy's an athlete, not just a football player. I love Kyler Murray in Minnesota. I think it was a match made in heaven, truly. He's gonna be the starter week one unless he gets hurt or unless something crazy happens. Then the JJ McCarthy has to go in. And the beauty of his contract, I just saw it today. He's getting paid 1.3 million in his contract because the Cardinals owe him so much money. The Vikings punter, or I'm not sorry, their punter. They don't have a punter right now. Their long snapper is making 1.7. So their long snapper is making more money than the guy who's supposed to start at quarterback. Credit to our long snapper, Andrew Tapala. He's an all-pro. But it's kind of crazy to think about. So Minnesota, let's say Kyler Murray doesn't work out. All right, low risk, low reward. Go back and fall back on the guy you drafted 10th overall. Kyler Murray does work out. Low risk, high reward. You get a guy who could potentially be a franchise quarterback. He also is probably going to test free agency too. I think in his contract he has to test free agency. I think if there's something in his contract where he can't be extended until he sees other offers. I read something like that. I have to look more into it, but I love Kyler Murray to the Vikings. I think it's a great move for Minnesota, and I think it's gonna help. I think Justin Jefferson's gonna have a lot of fun this year. I think Jordan Addison's gonna play well. So yeah, I think this is kind of a move where Minnesota's saying to themselves, because if you look at their free agency, they didn't do a whole lot. I think Minnesota's kind of saying, look, we had 14 wins a couple of years ago. We had 2 years ago, we had 14 wins with this same roster. We got all our coaches back. We got most of our roster back. We were a quarterback away. Let's run it back again. And I really like what I'm seeing. So let's see. Let's see how it works. I think it's great.
No, yeah, I think you said it best because with that signing, the first person you think of is Justin Jefferson, and with him finally getting a state because that's all he's wanted his entire career. Even with Kirk Cousins at the helm, you know, it's not like you have Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes throwing to you or Matthew Stafford, somebody who's consistent, who's going to be able to hit 95% of his targets. He had average quarterbacks, and I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is average. He's a multi-time Pro Bowler. Sam Darnold's now a Super Bowl winner, but you need that stability, and it's hard for a star wide receiver to have such instability at quarterback. So I think this is really fantastic for you guys to get a guy who can really not only start right now, he could teach JJ McCarthy and let JJ McCarthy develop into a solid quarterback. Because think about it, they threw this kid in his rookie year because he was hurt his entire rookie year. So this past year was his technically his rookie year. So they threw him into the fire. He didn't perform well. He had his moments, but he did what a rookie quarterback does. He was mediocre, and I think that's okay. I think a lot of Vikings fans and fans in general get kind of this delusion that quarterbacks their first year are supposed to be godsend because CJ Stroud did it his first year. Look at him now. He's not as great as he used to be, and he's in his third year. So quarterbacks, grow and they get better over time, and I think this move for them gives JJ McCarthy a little bit of breathing room to develop into a solid quarterback one and somebody that they could really use as a quarterback. And I don't think Kyler's a mainstay for so long. I think the end goal is JJ McCarthy developing, and I think Kyler is that backup plan. That if he doesn't develop, we still have a former first overall pick. Um, it, right here, and we can give him. He's getting paid like $1 million. You know, so I think that's a really really good move by them, and a smart move financially as well because it gives them room to move other pieces if need be. So I definitely do think that's one of the better moves, and I'm gonna move in division as well to my Chicago Bears. I'm not gonna talk about anybody we got because we did get a couple guys, but I'm gonna talk about what we lost and what that means for the Chicago Bears because the Chicago Bears lost guys like Nashawn Wright, Jalen Brisker. Um, we lost Edmonds. We lost C.J. Gardner Johnson. So most of our secondary. Um, so as somebody looking in from the outside, what does that tell you about what the Bears are doing and what they're trying to build there? I know we added Kobe Bryant from the Super Bowl Seattle Seahawks, some depth pieces, but what does that really say about um, what this year could have been if they won? Because now they're kind of scorching earth a little bit. So what do you think that means?
Well, I don't think it's that bad. I think that actually is a good sign that the Bears are saying that they're confident. They think they have a team, right? They wouldn't let all these pieces go if they weren't confident in the guys they have. I mean, they did get Kobe Bryant. They also were able to get Devin Bush, right? Devin Bush went to Chicago. Yeah, yeah, and he had a breakout year.
Yeah,
Anybody
he
who
was
watched
fine.
Devin Bush, he was nice. He was really good. Sure, Tremaine Edmonds is Tremaine Edmonds, but yeah, that's a good guy to sign to replace him.
Mhm.
But this is a sign to me that the Chicago Bears are confident in the team that they have. It's a lot of pieces, but they're saying to themselves, "Hey, we got a team here. Let's see what we could do." Um, I think the one trade that really hurt them a little bit was the DJ Moore move, more than anything, just because now you need to get a receiver to go help out Caleb Williams. But that offense, man, I mean, that run game is going to be, I think that run game is a top maybe five run game in the NFL. I love that backfield. And that's not because I'm a Rutgers fan, but I think Kyle Monangai is going to be fantastic. I think he's going to be a top 15 running back next year if he gets all those snaps. He is explosive. He can catch the ball. He's fast. And let's not count out DeAndre Swift. That is one of the biggest resurgences of last year. DeAndre Swift, he looked awesome. Um, and a lot of people were dogging Chicago, including myself, for taking Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren. I take it all back. I am not a guy who likes to do that. I love when I'm right, but I got to admit when I'm wrong. Colston Loveland's an absolute beast. He's a monster, and he is really the 1-1 over in Chicago. Roma Dunze is getting more snaps this year. I like it. Sure, he's young. Let him go. Chicago Bears got Garrett Bradbury, former Viking, former Patriot, good player, solid center. If you can't draft a center, that's going to be your starter, and he is the definition of average. And that's fine when you have two guards on either side of you who are really good. He plays as good as the rest of his line. So that's what the Bears are getting. But to me, sure, is it bad losing all these players? Yeah. Do I think they should have signed Nashawn right back more than anybody? Yes. I think that was the biggest loss because I think he was the most he had the most to improve. He had more room to improve than anybody else on that team. But to me, this is the Chicago Bears and that front office and Ben Johnson saying, hey, we still have the draft. So let's not forget about that. The draft is coming up. We're I believe, a month away now from the draft. We have a lot of pieces on our team. And more importantly, we have room to get better. So this is the Bears saying, hey, we're confident. We're not saying that it's okay to let go of all these pieces, but we're confident. So, I mean, and if you look at the rest of the NFC North, they didn't do too hot either. Look at the Packers. They didn't do too hot. The Vikings, hey, we signed Kyler Murray and Kyler Murray and Kyler Murray. That's about it, right? They signed James Pierre as well, but they lost more than what they gained. And then you look over at the Lions, they didn't do a whole lot. So, Dom, you tell me, what does that say to you?
No, I definitely I agree with that sentiment. They definitely lost a lot, and I agree with you that they lost the most on that DJ Moore trade. I do think it was inevitable though. I think that regardless he was going to go, whether he
I
requested a
agree.
trade, yeah, he was bound to just not be there for long term. He wasn't in the plans, and I hate to say it because I really do like DJ Moore. But like you said, the Chicago Bears are growing. They have most of their positions filled out, if not all of them. Um, Obviously, I would like some depth on that defensive line. But like you said, Devin Bush is a great acquisition. Kobe Bryant's a great acquisition. Bradbury is a great acquisition. So it's not like they made it out of free agency empty-handed. They had a rough situation with the cap this year. I think they have 1.7 million remaining. So they did what they could. It's not like they were gonna splurge everything on getting more people. So definitely a tough situation, but um, a very they managed it well, and I really I'm happy they did because that could have turned out really bad. But I think I'm gonna give the floor to you. If you want to, that's what I wanted to run through real quick. If you want to go through anything, let me know because I'm more than open to talk about what you got on your mind because so go ahead, Vin.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about who I think the biggest winner was in free agency. And to me, the biggest winner, everybody's talking about them. And I totally agree that it's the Tennessee Titans. They went off. I mean, you could call them the Tennessee Giants at this point with how many people they signed off the New York Giants.
I
But
agree.
man, one of the predictions that I made in our video, episode 4, go back and watch it. I said Wan'Dale Robinson was going to go to Tennessee,
Hmm.
and I was right. And I love it because I think he's gonna feast over there with Cam Ward. I mean, just just to keep in mind, the Titans still aren't done because they have the 4th overall pick in the draft. So they still have a lot of things that they could do. But just as their moves from free agency, I mean, I have a little bit of a list here. I just needed to pull it up because I have the link in my Google Doc here. They
I
got Jermaine Johnson via trade,
mhm.
John Franklin Myers, Jacob Martin, Solomon Thomas, Cordell Flott, and Alante Taylor. That's just defense. That's defense alone. And I love Cordell Flott. Anybody who hasn't watched Cordell Flott with the Giants, go back and watch him. Alante Taylor is really talented as well.
He was their best cornerback this year by far.
By
Cordell
by
Flott.
far. And the Giants secondary was awful.
Yeah.
Offensively, they got a backup quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky. As a backup, he's good. As a starter, not so much. You would know more than anybody else. But as a backup, Mitchell Trubisky might just be one of the best backups in the NFL because he has that starting experience.
Hmm.
They signed Daniel Bellinger, who, for those of you who haven't watched the Giants, I know there's a lot of Giants signings, but it makes sense. I'll explain in a minute. Daniel Bellinger is unbelievably good. He's so underrated. He's so underrated.
Especially
One
in
of
the
the
red
most
zone.
underrated. Yeah, he's so good in the red zone. He's a great blocking tight end, which is big in this day and age, especially after they lost Chigakonkwo to the Commanders, I believe.
Hmm.
I think Daniel Bellinger is going to be a great fit. I always thought he was better than Theo Johnson, who's the other Giants tight end. So I love that signing. And they signed Wan'Dale Robinson, which I've already talked about. It's a great, great pickup. They re-signed their kicker, Nick Folk, who I really like. This team had so much to gain. And credit to Robert Saleh, who is their new head coach. I thought he was good with the Jets. I did. And I think he's going to feast over in Tennessee. And the reason they're signing all these Giants players, their offensive coordinator, former Giants coach, right? I mean, it makes sense for them to go after all these Giants players. I love what they did this offseason. I think they did a great job, just through and through. And as for the biggest losers to me in free agency, um, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Vikings fan and Dom is a Bears fan. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that because of the stuff that they did. They didn't really do a whole lot of anything. So here's what the Packers did this free agency, right? Here's the signings they made. Former Vikings defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, 2 years, $23 million. He was okay. Benjamin St-Juste, 2 years, $10 million. Not bad. They got Zaire Franklin for as their next linebacker, who I think is fine. And they got Sky Moore and Jonathan Ford, right? So a couple players. Here's who they lost. Rashawn Gary, they traded him to Dallas for a 4th-round pick. Quay Walker, who signed with the Raiders on a 3-year, $40 million deal. Rasheed Walker, their tackle, who signed with Carolina. Malik Willis, which was bound to happen. Emmanuel Wilson, one of their running backs. Elton Jenkins, who they've released. Nate Hobbs, who they released. Romeo Dobbs, who they let go to the Patriots. I mean, like, that's a lot of guys that they just lost. And then last year they traded away Micah Parsons. Dallas's defensive line is better than the Packers' defensive line. I'd say Dallas's defense is better than the Packers' defense right now after all that. And the Packers got rid of a first-round pick to go get Micah Parsons. I mean, this Packers team is a mess. Romeo Dobbs was supposed to be their wide receiver too. I mean, I guess it's going to be Matthew Golden now, which makes sense because he's a first-round pick. But, oh, man, I mean, they released Elton Jenkins. They got rid of one of their backup tackles. They got rid of Rashawn Gary, who I love the guy to death. New Jersey, player, played at Bergen Catholic. Love Rashawn Gary. They got rid of Quay Walker. They got rid of this guy. They got rid of the other. They're just getting rid of people. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know how they got rid of all those people and didn't get rid of their head coach. This looks like a team to me. Like when you look at all these moves they made, it feels like this. When you see that list of players that they got rid of and players that they added, it looks like a team that's rebuilding. But this isn't a team that's rebuilding. This is a team that made the playoffs. Like this is a team that is capable of winning the NFC North. This is a team that had who has a franchise quarterback and Tucker Kraft coming back from an injury. I mean, offensively, they didn't really do a whole lot, but they got rid of their center, who wasn't good, but when he was a guard, he was a Pro Bowler, and now he went to Cleveland, a team that needs an offensive line. The Packers have so many holes to fill now. They need offensive line, they need defensive backs, they need defensive linemen. I mean, they can't. I mean, I'm never say never, but it's going to be really hard for them to fill all these holes in the draft. I mean, to me, the biggest winners are the Titans, the biggest losers are the Packers, and there's a lot of in between. Dom, who's your biggest winner? Who's your biggest loser?
Man, I'm kind of on you with the Titans. The Titans, we talked about it privately, just over text when free agency was just going on, and how good the Titans were doing, like how many moves they made to fill out their roster, and you could really see the influence Robert Saleh had over all those moves. But I'm not going to pick them. Um, Personally, I mean, if I had to, I would, but I want to keep it interesting. I honestly, I like what the Raiders did the most. I'm on the Raiders bandwagon because I think that they're building around. I talked about it before. They're building around the you know that core that they're gonna have with Mendoza and Genti and Brock and just that offense is gonna be so solid. They had so much room to grow and they have so much potential in this draft. People forget how deep this draft is for a lot of positions: wide receiver, edge, O line. It's a really good draft for those positions, and those are well needed positions. Again, you have the first pick in this second round as well. That's literally just having a late first round pick. You have so many options with that as as well as getting Fernando Mendoza. So I could talk about how good the Raiders did for so long. I'm going to tell you about how I think the Colts were the losers in free agency. Yes, yes, I know. I love the Alec Pierce signing because he deserves his money and he was going to get money wherever he went. But other than that, what did you do to improve the quarterback position? Daniel Jones is basically immobile. Anthony Richardson is not going to be a quarterback for you. What are you doing? Like, what is going on? Your offensive line is deteriorating. You're looking at a situation where Andrew Luck retired. Like, he retired because of how bad your offensive line was. Like, I know you have Quentin Nelson. Like, I understand, but he's getting older. Your team is getting older. You're It's so sad because they have so many guys with great potential. I love Alec Pierce. And if it wasn't for him, there would be no question. If they didn't re-sign him, this would be the unanimous worst free agency for them. But they re-signed him. They made the smart move. He's their wide receiver one. You traded away Michael Pittman for like the weirdest trade you could have made too. Of all people, you trade. I understand he was on his way out, but to Pittsburgh, and you didn't get a good return back. What did they get? A second round pick, I think.
I don't even think they got a second round pick. I think they got like a third round. I mean, Michael Pittman trade. I don't think they got much of anything. Uh,
Yeah,
the Pittsburgh acquired wide receiver Mike Pittman from the Colts, involving a late round pick swap. The Colts got oh my gosh, Michael Pittman Jr. and a 2026 seventh. That's what the Steelers got, and the Colts got a 2026 sixth.
yeah,
That's what I'm reading right now. That's bad, man.
yeah.
That's
So
bad.
when they talk about how like that trade made sense, I don't see it. There's no reason for that trade to happen. So with that, I'm giving that as my pick. So yeah, I think the Colts were the biggest losers.
Yeah, the Colts did horrible. Honestly, like I agree with you on Alec Pierce that they had to re-sign him, but the contract they gave him, I'm pretty sure that makes Alec Pierce the ninth highest paid receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think I can name about 19 receivers better than Alec Pierce. So that's no disrespect to Alec Pierce. He had a great year, but 114 million. That's
But
a lot of money for a guy who had one good year.
who was throwing to him though? That's the thing. Who's going to throw to
Exactly.
him?
Yeah, and who is going to throw to him? I hope
Uh,
it's not Anthony Richardson, who has like who leaves the game in the middle of the third quarter because he's tired. Who I heard
no.
the Vikings want to pick up. I don't want anything to do with him.
Don't. Yeah,
But
I hope
like,
they don't.
oh man, like just bad. The Colts did a horrible job. They got rid of like almost everybody. And like I know I said the Packers, like I didn't really talk about Zaire Franklin, but this is a guy who led the league in tackles 2 years ago. Like this
No.
is a guy that they just traded away who's supposed to start on their defense. I mean, I think Quay Walker's better, but like, man, this is like the Colts cleared house, and I don't know what they're doing. Like, I get that Michael Pittman freed up 24 million, but if I had to choose to build a team around Michael Pittman or Alec Pierce, I'm choosing Michael Pittman. I don't care how much older he is. I think he's the better player. Um,
I
I
agree.
get
I
they
agree.
still have Jonathan Taylor, but man, it was bad. Just a couple other things I wanted to touch on in free agency, a couple moves that I don't think the people are talking about enough. Um, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, did a great job when they went ahead and they signed Rico Dowdle. To me, that is one of the most underrated, underappreciated moves in all of free agency. I love that pickup for them. I think Rico is going to be great over there. With with what's his name in the backfield with him? Who's the other Steelers running back? Why am I
Uh,
blanking out?
not Jalen. Is it Jalen Warren now? Yeah,
It's
Jalen
Jaylen
Warren.
Warren.
Jalen
Yeah, so
Warren.
it's gonna be
Because
Jaylen Warren. That's gonna be a nice two-headed monster back there.
yeah.
I think another nice move that we have to talk about is Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs.
Mm.
We talked a lot about where Kenneth Walker might go, and you know the the only thing the NFL had to do to make sure the Chiefs don't get back into the Super Bowl in the playoffs is to make sure they don't have a really good run game. So let's not give them like an average running back. Let's not let them sign Kenneth Gainwell. No, let's let them sign the Super Bowl MVP, the guy who the Seahawks didn't realize until like 15 games in that if we give him 20 touches a game, he's going to be one of the best running backs in the NFL. That Kenneth Walker, I think that's a great move. He's going to be a beast over in with the Chiefs, and I think one more move that I want to talk about. I think the Bills did a really good job signing Bradley Chubb. They
Hmm.
signed him to a deal that has 29 million guaranteed over the next 3 years, and he had about 8.5 sacks last year. I think the Bills needed to improve a little bit on defense. I think it's a really nice addition to that Buffalo defense that had a lot to lose over the last offseason. Um, Overall, I mean, man, this free agency has been a lot of fun. Those are just a couple moves that I feel like I needed to talk about. But I mean, Dom, is there any other moves that come off that you haven't talked about that are just off the top of your head?
Yeah, there's one. You're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that Isaiah Pacheco move is one of the dumbest moves you can make. And not for nothing, I really do like Isaiah Pacheco, but we saw what he did in a committee. He's not good in a committee.
Nope.
He he is an RB1 if you put him by himself. Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna take most of that, and it's not gonna be good for him. And hopefully I'm wrong because I actually do really like Isaiah Pacheco, and another Rutgers kid that I
Yes,
really
sir.
like. And yeah, he was really good his first couple years with the Chiefs, and I don't know this past year he just kind of fell off a cliff, and I don't know whether that was due to injury or I don't want to speculate, but it's I hope he finds his footing there, and I want to see him in a bigger role because I know what he could do in a bigger role, and hopefully the Lions have good history with their running backs and can hopefully unlock a little bit of his potential because he's still young. So that I mean that was really it for me. I kind of just want to touch on that. Kenneth Walker we went over. Um, yeah,
Oh, Isaiah Likely to the Giants, I think, is a great move
that's a
too.
fantastic pickup. He's going to be their starting tight end for years to come. He's going to be
Yeah,
one of Jackson Dart's favorite targets as well. I'm calling it right now.
I
Uh,
agree.
Especially with Malik Neighbors kind of. nursing that injury back to full health because he's not going to be 100% week 1. I'm calling it now. He's not going to be 100%. Those
Now,
ACL tears are weird.
the rumor is the Giants are supposed to go after Caleb Downs in the
Mm.
draft, or they're supposed to go after a defensive player. Does signing Isaiah likely change that? And does losing Wan'Dale Robinson change that? Or do you think they still go for best player available?
I think they go best player available, and I see I see Harbaugh making a team first move other than like a flashy move. I could see him really going after Caleb Downs, or I can see him going after. Call me crazy. I can see him going after Sonny Styles after
That's not crazy. That's not crazy at all.
after losing Okereke. I really could see that.
But this
He's
is all. But remember, this is a Giants team that also signed Tremaine Edmonds,
mhm,
and they also still kept around Michael McFadden.
yeah.
So I don't I agree with you. I think this is a Giants team that's definitely going after Caleb Downs. But let's say we get into a situation where at number 4 overall, the Tennessee Titans don't take Jeremiah Love. If Jeremiah Love is there for the Giants, do you pair Jeremiah Love up with Cam Scadaboo, or do you go with Caleb Downs? I mean, who knows? Let's just say the first 3, right? Number 1's going to be Fernando Mendoza unless he literally murders somebody and goes to jail. So let's just, as of right now, about a month out from the draft, it's going to be Mendoza. It's probably going to be Arvell Reese. Then we have number 3, we have the Cardinals. I think it's going to be Malagoa, the tackle, to protect whoever's going to be quarterback back there, because right now it's Jacoby Brissett. And then number 4, let's say it's Sonny Styles. Let's say it's maybe an edge rusher. Giants are at number 5. They have Caleb Downs. They have Jeremiah Love. You're Joe Shane. Who do you pick?
Man, I like that flashy pick. I want Jeremiah Love.
I like it.
How crazy would that be to have Cam Scadaboo as your power back, third down back, and Jeremiah Love as that pass catching like first down, second down back? How crazy would that be?
That'd be
That
a lot of fun.
that would be insane. And you could build that team around that rushing attack because not for nothing, Jackson Dart could run the ball like hell. He could
Oh
run it.
yeah,
He could run it really, really nice. So you could have a three-headed monster rushing attack with Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo, Jeremiah Love, and
Tyrone
we
Tracy.
Tyrone Tracy. We've seen guys like Malik Neighbors run jet sweeps and those wonky run plays, and I'm sure Harbaugh has tricks up his sleeve that he's going to create for this Giants offense. So I really do think that that would be the really flashy, nice pick. I don't think
All
if
right.
they, I don't think they do it, but there's always a possibility, and I think that that's the fun with that. Like they have the option to do whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think it's good. I think I agree with you, because 2 picks later at number 7, I believe, is the Washington Commanders. And I think if Jeremiah Love falls to Washington, the whole league is kind of screwed, because you have Jaden Daniels and Jeremiah Love on the same offense. So I think the Giants would also do that. But if they take Caleb Downs, I think Caleb Downs is the best player in the entire draft. I think
Mhm.
he's like I think he's got more room to. I think he's good. I think like coming into the league, he's going to be one of the best safeties in the league for a long, long time. I mean, like I don't remember a safety prospect this hyped up since Jamal Adams, and Jamal Adams was really good when he came out of college for the Jets. Um, but with all that being said, it's been a show or two, but I have another keep 3 cut 5 for you here today,
Okay.
and it is off season moves all time. So trades and free agency signings.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Hit me.
First one up is in 2009. Albert Hainsworth signs with the Washington Commanders, an 8-year, $100 million deal.
Oh man. Jeez. Oh man.
Uh,
See, I don't know what you're coming up with next. So that's
Albert
the hard part.
Hainsworth. Let's just take a look at how Albert Hainsworth did with the
Yeah. Let me think.
Commanders. I mean, his stats uh, were something. Albert Hainsworth, when he played the 20 games on that 8-year, $100 million deal, he had 42 tackles, um, 11 assists, 6 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. And he got cut the next year.
Yeah,
So
we're cutting this. I only had to I had to refresh my memory because I honestly don't remember that so well. Uh,
yeah,
but,
that's nobody wants to remember that.
um, I saw a quote just now scrolling, and it said the Redskins took away my love for for football. So with that, I'm cutting him.
All right, next one. This is an interesting one that I thought about. This was on draft night
Mm.
when the Los Angeles, then San Diego Chargers traded Eli Manning to the
Wow.
New York Giants in exchange for Philip Rivers, the two passing leaders all time for those teams. You keeping that or you cutting that?
Are we going off the basis of was it like a crazy move, like how crazy it was, or was it
Well, this to me is like the best moves. Like
oh
who
the
made the
bet move?
best move? So this is from I'm doing this from the New York Giants perspective. So the
Oh
Giants trading for Eli.
oh
Do
we're
you
keep
think that you just keep in mind there's a bunch of other free agency and trade moves in here. Are you keeping Eli for Philip?
we have to keep Eli, two-time Super Bowl champion. It doesn't it doesn't get better than that for New York football. That was
All right.
probably uh the I mean they won two Super Bowls out of it. I'll take two Super Bowls out of anything.
All right. Next move up. This is a free agency signing. In 2012, the Denver Broncos decided to sign Colts legend Peyton Manning.
Oh,
And keep in mind, there's other moves ahead. They signed Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning won the 50th Super Bowl and brought them to a second Super Bowl, which they got blown out in. But it's Peyton Manning to the Broncos. You keep it or cutting. You got two more keeps left.
I know. Two more keeps and I have what three more cuts or four more cuts.
You have four more cuts.
Oh man, I think I gotta cut this one. I know that sounds crazy,
Man,
but I'll take the two Super Bowls for Eli
there
over a.
goes the sheriff. The
I
sheriff's
know.
getting cut. So next move up that I have listed here is another free agency signing. The Minnesota Vikings back in 2017, I believe, signing Kirk Cousins to a 3-year, $100 million deal. He brought them to multiple playoff games, which they won one of. He made multiple Pro Bowls. I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, we're cutting him.
Yeah,
Sadly, I love
I
Kirko, but
agree.
I love
I would have
Kirko.
done the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, next move. Deion Sanders signs with the San Francisco 49ers in 1994. This is one of three players in NFL history to play for three different teams and be first team All Pro. Deion Sanders, first team All Pro with the Falcons, Cowboys, and 49ers. Terrell Owens, first team All Pro, and Kevin Green. But we're talking about prime time here. 94 signs with the 49ers. Are we keeping it or are we cutting it?
Man, see now it's so hard to judge other positions other than quarterback on like Super Bowl wins because I like if you tell like when you told me that Peyton and Eli, I'm more judging that off of if they won a Super Bowl. You can't really judge prime time off of you know oh what if you won a Super Bowl over him like that's prime time. You're getting the best quarterback of all time and man, I mean, that's the best move they could have made, like, and like, man, I'm I'm keeping it. I'll keep it.
Okay, we're keeping prime time. Next move up. This is going to be a tough one for you. The Los Angeles Rams trade away Jared Goff and a ton of draft picks to go get Matthew Stafford. And it's tough because there's a couple moves up here that I know are going to be that I know are good. But Stafford is it all comes down to whether you think they should keep it or cut it. I mean, what do you think?
So I'm in the Rams' perspective of like if this was
Yeah,
a good trade.
if you're the Rams and you have one keep left and there's still two more moves after this.
Man, I know you're gonna hit me with something crazy next, or the next two at least. I gotta cut it. I would keep it if
Man,
I would keep it if I didn't if I didn't keep prime time, but I am cutting Stafford, which is so crazy because they sold their soul for that Super Bowl.
So you got one keep left, and the next trade up, 1989. The Minnesota Vikings traded for Herschel Walker, and in exchange, Dallas. So you're doing this from Dallas's perspective. Dallas got Jesse Solomon, David Howard, Isaac Holt, Alex Stewart, Darren Nelson, Minnesota's first, second, and sixth round pick in 1990, their first and second round pick in 1991, their first, second, third round pick in 1992,
Just a moment to say how
and a
crazy.
Super Bowl and two Super Bowls to Dallas.
And Dallas won Super Bowls.
I believe
Man,
two. I don't know if it was one or two. I know they beat the Bills in one of them. So
just like how insane is that trade? Like one player warrants all of this. And I know Walker was good, but man,
that's three first round picks right there.
yeah, and a super.
That's how run heavy the NFL was at the time in 1989. The Vikings traded away their entire the farm to go get Herschel Walker. This is like you think the Ravens traded away a lot to go get Maxx Crosby at the time. No, this is like let's just go out like going over this again. First and second round picks in 1990, first and second round pick in 91, first, second, and third in 92. That's three first round picks, three second round picks, and a third round pick and a sixth round, and both their sixth round picks in 1990, along with Jesse Solomon, David Howard, Isaac Holt, Alex Stewart, and Darren Nelson. That's five players. And I don't. Let me just check what the. I'm pretty sure those draft picks ended up being really good players. I mean, I don't even who do those draft pick? Yeah, so they used one of those picks to move up to 17 to take Emmitt Smith, which ended up being really good. Uh, they got Alonzo Highsmith with one of those picks in the second round, who ended up being pretty good. Um, they got Kevin Smith, Clayton Holmes, I mean, there's just so many players they got from. I mean,
Yeah,
they drafted Emmitt Smith, Darren Woodson, and Russell Maryland out of that. So
yeah. Oh, just for the fact that they drafted Emmitt Smith, I'm taking that.
yeah, that's a
You
keep,
gotta keep it.
obviously. So that's your last pick.
Yeah,
So let's go
obviously
through it
because
again.
they got a hole back too, not not just because of Emmitt Smith, because of the hole they got back. But
You so we'll go through it again. You started off cutting Albert Haynesworth, probably the worst free agency signing we've ever seen.
mhm.
Then you kept Eli for Phillip. You cut Peyton Manning to Denver. You cut Kirk Cousins. You kept one of the best corner ever, Deion Sanders. You cut Matthew Stafford. You kept Herschel Walker. And the last move that you cut, you did well, my friend. You cut the Las Vegas Raiders, trading a third and fifth to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Antonio
Antonio
CTE Brown.
Antonio Brown, I love it. Oh, that was a
So
good one.
I think that you did a really good job. The only thing I would have changed Eli for Matthew Stafford,
Yeah,
because I just think Stafford's still going. I think, I love Eli, but it's not like, I mean, like, I just think that Stafford's the better player than Eli. But other than that, I mean, I can't say you did bad. I mean, I know it must have been hard to cut Stafford. It probably wasn't easy cutting Peyton Manning, but you made three really good picks.
thank you, sir. Thank you. That was fun. I like that.
Good job.
Thank you, sir. Alrighty. Well, thank you for being on with me, Vin. And I'm gonna come up with one of those for you for next episode. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Sports Pulse Pod. This is Dom, aka Windy City Football. Go follow me on all socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. Go follow YouTube, and then go follow Vin on TikTok. He's getting going with content. He's obviously on here with me all the time. Vin knows sports on TikTok again. Vin, you got anything to say before we get off?
I mean, I'm just really excited, man. Free agency's not done. There's still some people out there like Tyreek Hill. There's some rumors about AJ Brown getting moved. I hope by the next time that we hop on here, those guys have new homes, and we have more to talk about. And of course, let's not forget about the NFL draft, and let's not forget about the other sports that are going on. We got the NHL playoffs. We got the Stanley Cup playoffs in about a couple weeks. We have the very exciting World Baseball Classic
Mm.
going on right now. We have the United States going against Venezuela in the final round. We got a lot to talk about, guys. So I'm really excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm really excited to see what happens soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. See you guys on the next episode. Have a good night. Peace out.